Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades of Over 50. And I have as my guest this week, Dr. Linda Browne. Yay!
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And listen, people, I met Dr. Browne virtually on TikTok. Yeah. So for all of you out there thinking, oh, TikTok are for the younger people, guess what? Out there. And if you're not out there, you are missing out. It is a fun place.
Yes. Yes, it is. It sure is.
It is. All right. So the first question I have for you is, how old are you?
I'm 70. 70 years old. Yep.
Love it, love it, love it. So tell us a little bit about yourself before I start to ask you all the questions that I have for you.
Okay. I'm originally from Youngstown, Ohio, and I usually start from the military. I was in the military for 24 years and I retired. Yeah. I was a doctor in the military, but initially I was enlisted, went back to school, got my degree while I was in, then got out, went to medical school, and then came back in as a doctor. So I spent 24 years in, then I retired, moved to New York City because I always wanted to go into acting and that did some
Okay,
acting.
can we just stop there for a second? Okay. When did you move to New York City? You have to pause there.
2012.
I'm sorry?
I was, when I moved to New York City, I think I was 60.
Okay, so I just want to get you to listen. Okay, so everyone listening, can you just pause and just kind of let that sink in? She wanted to get into acting. And she decided at 60, she was moving to New York. So for all of you talking out there saying, oh, it's too late, I'm too old. She was still trying to pursue her dream. And she decided to move to New York. So go ahead. I just want people to kind of appreciate that.
Yes. And I'll tell you, one of the people that was really supportive of me was my youngest daughter. And at that time, I think she was 20 or 21. And I was talking with her. I said, I always wanted to go into acting. And she said, Mom, why don't you do that? And I thought, who in the world is going to want to hire me for an acting job? And I'm 60. And just as a side note, when I moved to New York City and I took acting lessons, and I was so busy. And I'll tell you why. Because, you assume, oh my goodness, I'm not young, I'm not, blonde, blue-eyed, and that. And one of the acting teachers told me, there are a million young blonde, blue-eyed women down here trying to be actors, but not a lot of older African-American females. And when we have roles that are, specifically written for an African-American older woman, and we can't find anyone. And there you go. So,
oh my goodness.
You just have to do it. You just have to do it. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. And after that, I moved to now where I'm at in Texas because my daughter and my granddaughter are here.
Wow.
And so TikTok and Instagram has really given me an outlet to continue doing my acting, even more so because now I'm a one-woman show, and it's really, I like it. I like it.
This explains a lot though, because listen, I follow her on TikTok and she is so creative, but she talks about being a doctor. And then I see all these other skills. I'm like, wow. I mean, she raps, she does skits. I mean, you really need to follow her on TikTok. I'm going to put her link so that you guys can follow her.
Thank you so much.
Her page is so entertaining. But now I just see, I didn't even know you did the acting thing. I mean, this is inspiring.
Yeah. But and of course, I'm still practicing. I do telemedicine online.
Wow.
I'll always do that because I love being a doctor. And
Yeah.
again, going back to TikTok and Instagram, my reach in because one of my focuses is medical education,
Yes.
educating people about diseases and just preventative health.
Yeah.
And being on TikTok and Instagram, the reach is fantastic. It really is. It
That's so
really
true.
is.
It's so
It's
true.
just amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Just love it. Oh my goodness, I love your story. I love it. I knew there was a reason why I needed to connect with you and bring you on this show.
Yeah,
So tell me,
thank
what
you.
are some of the things that you see a lot of, like a lot of questions that will probably be helpful that you can share with us to help in that area of preventive medicine, yeah, or education, as you will.
Sure. So some of the things I see, and I've been surprised with women who are 50 and over, questions like about menopause. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of women that don't know menopause truly is a part of it's it's just natural. It's just something that's going to happen, and hot flashes and the some people talk about irritability and those sorts of things. Yes, they happen, but some women are just so stunned and they think, oh my goodness, I think there's really something wrong with me, but it's not. It's just a natural part of health. And I think education is a big part of our health as we get older. I really do. So I just want to say menopause is just a normal part of just becoming more mature.
Yeah.
And it's important, I think, to if you can find a good primary care doctor who can help you through this. There are certain things that can help some of your symptoms, and so you need that as you get older.
Yeah.
I've been surprised.
Yeah. So what have you seen that probably can help us that we probably should be aware of? Because I think menopause is one of those topics that we don't talk enough about. It's kind of like hush, hush, hush.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, listen, if you live long enough, you will go through it, and in varying degrees. But if you think you will go through menopause at some point. So what are some of the things that you can probably share with us that can probably help the listeners, because they might be going through it or about to go through it or have been through it?
One of the big things that I want to touch on, and I've been surprised that women don't know this, when you are going through menopause or the perimenopausal time, around the time when your periods start getting irregular and you have a period here and you won't have it, understand that you can still get pregnant during that time. I've been surprised that a lot of women don't know that.
All right, ladies.
Yeah.
Still be careful.
Yeah, totally. After, the definition of menopause is 6 months straight without a period. Then you can say, you know what, I'm postmenopausal. But during, you can still become pregnant. And that is a very important.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Something's happening.
Uh-oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, something happened just now.
Huh.
Okay. All right. Now I can hear you again.
Okay. Yes. So I'm just, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn off my phone. I don't know if that has any.
You know what? That might help. Yeah. Sometimes the interference.
Okay. I turned it off. I think that was something interference. But that's really important. The other thing is, as we get older, some women have vaginal dryness.
Oh, yeah, that's a common one.
Recurrent urinary tract infections.
Yes.
Irritation, itching. And it's because we're getting older, we don't have as much estrogen, and we get some vaginal atrophy.
Yeah.
Again, a primary care doctor is very important to have, because there's certain things that we can do, for instance, estrogen cream, or just kind of some help with that. But being free and feeling comfortable talking to your primary care doctor about it. Know that this is just a normal part, again, of becoming more mature and painful intercourse.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yes.
Being able to discuss this with your primary care doctor. If you cannot discuss this with your primary care doctor, then you need another primary care doctor. You really do.
Yeah. But what if they do this? Okay, so this is the other issue I've heard from some of my clients. They say, well, I've spoken to my doctor and they've gotten responses like, well, that's just how it is. You'll get over it. And I just think, wow, and I guess in cases like that, they probably need to seek another, primary care.
They really do
to help them.
Now, so this is one of, I guess I should say, one of my biases. And I think female physicians are easier to talk to and more understanding, because I personally understand. And because I've been through a lot of this. So, there are certain sensitive physicians, male physicians as well. But I think getting a female physician or a female nurse practitioner or a female provider, I really think that that's very helpful.
Yeah. And so essentially what Dr. Browne is saying, you need to advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of women will just kind of suffer in silence because they don't want to discuss it. They don't want to bring it up. If you are uncomfortable with bringing that up with your primary care doctor, you really need to seek another primary care doctor, because that's something that you should be able to talk with.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's you should not be suffering in silence. There are too many options to help you for you to be suffering in silence. And I'm saying this because I know menopause can strike you in such a way where even getting out of the house is debilitating. It's like you can't even function. And so please, if you're listening to this and you feel like, oh my goodness, that is me, seek help.
Right. Absolutely. And don't, a lot of us are inclined to say, well, this is just the way it's going to be. I'm just going to have to suffer through it. No.
No. Parents, grandparents probably did that, but there are options now. So many options. Your story doesn't have to be theirs. No. So tell me about, like, what are the other questions you get? Because I know you get all kinds of questions on, TikTok from women, especially more mature women.
I think, one of the things that, and I think I told you this recently, I read an article written by a woman about, she was single, no children, not a lot of friends, and no family. When you're a more mature woman and you're married, you have a family, that's one thing. But when you're single, it can really be, you can really have some depression. Some women can, because you want to go out to eat, you have no one to go out to eat with. A lot of women are not comfortable going out by themselves. You want to go on a trip, you want to go on a cruise, you don't have anybody to go on a cruise with, so, but one of the things that I did want to say, especially for single women, you have to get out there.
You do. Oh my goodness.
You have to feel comfortable, get out there. But I'll tell you, one of the big deterrent to that is society, how society looks at it. If you go out and you eat by yourself, well, you have to be comfortable ignoring all of if you get any looks or someone, little small things. You can go into a restaurant and the hostess will say, only one.
You're right. And that might just
right
away.
Yeah, that's right. But I've learned to say, since I'm single too, I've learned to say not only one, but one. One
Right.
powerful.
One pound.
You know,
And that's, I mean, I think I love that.
yeah,
One, not only one, a
one.
powerful one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's important that we get out there. Don't worry about, because society, a large part of society is not really encouraging to older women.
Oh,
They're
no.
not.
No, no, no. We live in a very youth obsessed society. I say
Oh my goodness.
completely. So
Yeah.
even if you say your age, we'll look at you like, okay, you know, it's almost
Oh
like you
yeah.
need to be quiet. Just go sit over there. Don't say
Absolutely.
anything. Don't be seen. But you know what? I'm here to disrupt all of that. And I know you are
Yeah.
too, because guess what? We are here and we have a
Absolutely.
voice. We have a lot of experience. We have a lot of brilliance. And so
Yeah.
this isn't the time for us to kind of shrink and not say anything. This is the time to share our knowledge
Right.
and wisdom with the world, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that part of uh, depression can be
Yeah.
a real biggie too. Again, if you're feeling down, the majority of the time, you need to seek help.
Good
Feel
point.
comfortable in talking with your. I guess I keep going back to, it's important to have a good doctor or a good provider to talk
Yes.
to.
Yeah. I
It
think this is
really is important.
yeah, and I think, like you said, this is the time when you really need to have a good relationship with your primary care physician, whoever that person is, because
Absolutely.
you're getting older. Something you said that I like, and I know there are some of you listening and saying, "Oh, you know, I'm single, but I'm good." But this is what I want to say: being single isn't the issue. The issue is, what do you view single as? Like, some people find it very empowering. And I know there are some of you that
Absolutely.
don't. And so it's those that don't that we're talking to when we talk about these things. But I also want
Yes.
you to know that there are so many opportunities. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I'm married, but guess what? There are days I want to eat by myself. So I sometimes
Mhm.
take myself out on a date. And
Yes.
I'm completely comfortable with that. Sometimes I'll go to the movie by myself because my husband or
Yes.
my kids don't want to watch the movie I want to watch, but I'm not going to deprive myself. And what I'm
Right.
saying is, don't allow life to pass you by because you don't have someone else to do it with.
Oh my goodness. Do not.
There are lots of opportunities to do solo travel now. That's big. You can go with a group or
Absolutely.
by yourself, but you can go with a group. Same thing for, you know, whether it's cruises, travel, different adventures. Don't let
Absolutely.
age prevent you from living life.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. There are, and I think this is probably in every city,
Mhm.
meetup groups.
Yes,
That's one
true.
thing I looked into on online. Just go to meetup groups in my area, and you will find groups that you can get together with. They have
Yes,
senior groups, they have travel groups, but you have to get out there.
you have
Get
to.
out there.
You know, life is
Get out
meant to
there.
be lived.
Mhm.
Don't just kind of
Yes,
sit back and
absolutely.
watch your life pass you by. No,
Right.
no, there are
Right.
so many
And
opportunities available.
yes. And it's great when you have family and you have your grandchildren and that, but don't forget about you as a
Yes.
person.
Yes, I agree. And that's true. You know, you know, even as a married person, grandmother, you know, child, because some of us
Mhm.
still have our parents living, it's so important that you
Oh
find
yeah.
time for yourself. Invest
Yes.
in you, because
Very,
we can
very.
get caught up in doing all these different things and forget ourselves. You have to remember that you still need care, you still need that nurturing, you still need attention for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
yeah, so tell me, are there certain checkups that women in their 50s and over that they need to be doing regularly that maybe we're not aware of?
Absolutely. Don't forget about your mammograms.
Mm.
The rules are always changing as far as
Yes.
how often you should get them, but you can check with your doc, and they will keep you up to snuff on that. You want to always get your mammograms, um, and even the rules on
Pap
pap
smears,
smears
right?
and
Mm.
pelvic have changed. Now, once you get past 45 or 50, then you want to think about getting
Yes,
colonoscopies.
that's a big one. Yes.
Forget about that. You need to get that done. and mainly those kinds of
yeah,
screenings.
sounds good.
You know,
Mhm. Yeah, sorry, you're going to say, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and don't forget about, let me put a plug in for your COVID vaccine.
Yes.
As well as
For
as
sure.
your boosters.
Yes.
Definitely.
For sure.
That's important.
Yeah. And I like what you said about check with your doctor, because, you know, the guidelines are always changing. And I also know the guidelines sometimes change depending on your race. So make sure the doctor's aware of that too. Yeah. Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you do that kind of keeps you so youthful? And listen, I'm saying this because I see her TikToks. She has so much fun. She has all these different skits. Oh my goodness. She plays all these different characters.
Yes. Well, and you know, I think you cannot be interesting if you don't have any interests.
Ooh, can you say that again, please? Say that again, please. Ooh.
If you don't have any interest, you're not going to be interesting. You're not. You're just not. So you have to do something. You have to do something. And especially if you're an older woman, if you're retired, you know, you hear people say, I'm going to retire and I'm going to just garden and I'm just, you know, somewhere along the line. Yes, no. You need to be doing something with yourself. You really do. You know, I see you. If you don't want to call it exercise, that's fine. But you need to move your body.
Yes.
Because it's nothing worse than working all of your life and retiring, getting your pension or your Social Security, and you're too sick to enjoy it.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that.
Listen, she's saying the truth now, because a lot of us are not paying attention. We're working so hard, we're ignoring our health. And I'm telling you, whatever money you're accumulating will be worthless if you don't have your health to enjoy it.
Worthless.
You're going to end up spending all the money on your health when you can do it now.
And absolutely. Your blood pressure, if you're diabetic, you want to take care of yourself. And a lot of that goes back to preventive care. You need to do some kind of exercise. You need to do some kind of walking. You know, we all love to eat, and I'm certainly not body shaming anyone, but we do need to get a grip on our weight.
Yeah.
We really do.
Yeah.
And that's important.
That's important. I mean, because we want to live, because the numbers are showing, listen, a lot of us are going to live, next 20, 30 years.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, we're in the 90s chilling. How do we want to feel? Forget about looks. Like, how do you want to feel at that point?
Yes.
And the decisions that you make today that are going to help that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so important. And as you get older, you want to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You do. You just don't want to be sick. But just doing something and whatever you have liked to do in the past. I hear people say, I used to do so and so and so and so, but I can't do that now. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
You can. If you want to, if you used to paint and then go back to painting.
Painting, yeah.
You used to play the violin, go back to playing the violin if you can. You need to do something.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah. And even if it's not something you did in the past that maybe you wanted to do, and you're like, okay, you could still do it now.
That is
a client. She's in her 60s. She's learning how to play the piano. Like, listen, don't let your age prevent you from living life. Go for it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Again, we are so concerned with what other people are going to say.
True.
We are so concerned. And I remember when I was living in New York and I used to take acting classes.
Yes.
I was one of the oldest people in the class all the time. And the my classmates, some of them were like 19 and 20, but they would say things like, "Oh, you want to meet for lunch?" Or you want to meet us for, we're going to go and we're going to have beers at wherever. And I'd say, well, you know what, I appreciate that, but sometimes I would go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would go because, you know, you need interactions too.
You
That's
need it.
another
Listen,
thing.
I believe in interactions with different ages. That, I mean,
Yes.
that intergenerational,
So
generational.
important.
Yes.
So very important because, you know, I can tell you, being on TikTok, I have learned so many things. You know, when we're older, we're inclined to look at the young people and think, oh, well, you know what, it's all negative. I remember in my day, da 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 da. No, but it's not. It's not all negative.
Not. It's
And
not.
these kids are smart and they're
Yes.
sharp, and you can learn a lot from them.
Exactly.
You
And
really
that's the
can.
thing. You open your mind and realize that you can learn from them too. It's a two-way street. It's not just you telling them
Oh, yes.
and being critical. I mean, I see it on TikTok all the time. I'm like,
Absolutely.
wow, they did that. I mean, it's just amazing. And we have
Yes.
to understand that they're doing it their way. I mean, and that's
Yes.
okay. It's just their way of doing things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but I agree. I think it's very important to have friends of and interact with people of different ages.
Yeah, I
The
love
worst
that.
thing you can do is, yeah, the worst thing, I think one of the worst things you can do is sit around with older people who are complaining, you know, about everything.
Yeah.
You don't want to be with them.
No. And you can
You
easily
don't.
get into that. It's so easy to kind
Oh,
of fall
yes,
into
you
that,
can.
you know. But
Absolutely. It's very
yeah.
easy.
Yeah. But I just have to say, listen, once you finish watching this, just hop over to her page and follow her on TikTok. You will be
Thank you so
entertained
much.
for hours.
I appreciate it.
I'm sure your
I
you have
just love
you have a
doing it.
granddaughter, right? Granddaughter?
Yes,
She must have
yes.
so much
She
fun with
just
you.
thinks it's amazing. She thinks it's just amazing. And my youngest daughter as well. She thinks it's just amazing.
I know. It's like, I mean, it's like what you're doing. And see, this is the thing. We want to all be examples of what's possible. She is showing us an example of what's possible. You know, don't buy into society's view, because society doesn't want you to do anything.
Oh,
Society does not, just wants to keep you in a
no,
little box, you know.
they really do.
That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this show, because the thing is, society is not going to showcase our voices. They're not going to do that. And so that's why I'm doing
Mm-mm.
this show, to showcase the voices of women who are doing amazing things and you can learn from. And so the more of us that hear this, the more of us that will put
Yes,
ourselves out there. Because if you hide, nothing
right.
happens. It's when you put yourself out there, that's when things begin to happen.
That's so true. That's very true. Very true. And I appreciate the things that you're doing as well. I love
Thanks.
to see your videos.
Thanks.
It's very inspiring and you're
Thanks.
energetic. I love it.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Thanks. All right, viewers, thank you so much. But before we go, I'm just going to ask Dr. Browne to give us some words of wisdom or a statement that can kind of encourage and inspire the women. So what would you want to say? Share with us.
I would, let's see, don't be afraid to do you.
Oh, yes.
And that is, don't be afraid, do you without reservation.
Without reservation.
That's what I would say.
Love it. You heard it from her.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and go be you. Do you on your own terms with no reservation.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Browne.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for everyone listening and viewing this. And if this interested you, I'm going to share all of Dr. Browne's information. But if you want to take it a step further and you're thinking, you know what, I'm single, I don't really have any friends, I have a community, I want to encourage you to join my online community called Flourish, specifically for women 50 and over. We're having so much fun in there. Like, women are changing their lives. They're realizing that they can give themselves permission to be themselves. And so if that is you, this is the link, www.kwavi.tv/flourish. I'm going to put that on the screen so that you can see that, because we need more women showing up as themselves. Some of you are being other people, but no, we want you to show yourself. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thanks
for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye. If you enjoyed listening to the show, you have to take a look at Flourish, my monthly online community for women in their 50s and beyond. We talk about the important issues affecting women in their 50s and over, and provide tools and resources to help you live your best life. Join me by clicking the link Flourish Online Community in the About Me section below. I'd love to have you join me. See you there.